What is going on here? And now I'm not a video game scientist, but I can clearly tell this isn't a Japanese game. Is Clemps okay? Blink twice if you're okay, Clemps. Who's hurting you? Look, okay, I know my channel focuses almost exclusively on Japanese RPGs, but hey, I'm gonna make an exception here because goddamn, this shit needs to be addressed. So back in the day, I wasn't brought up in a wealthy household. We got by, but whilst my friends were on a PS2, I was on a second-hand PS1, you get the drift. So this made playing MMOs extremely difficult because all I had is my old man's laptop, which could barely turn on and overheated if I so much as attempted to delete the history after my latest Newgrounds romp. But whilst World of Warcraft ran at a silky smooth 5 frames per second, the one game that always stuck by me through thick and thin was the poster boy of this video, RuneScape. Now, when I made my last In Defense video, a large number of you were confused why the title needed defending in the first place. The exact same thing happened when I said that RuneScape would be the next focus. Games that I feel need defending aren't necessarily panned by a majority. Some may have a stigma that has followed it over the years, and people who still think the same way about a game they played when they were 11 who are now in their 20s may need to give it a second look, or simply appreciate what the game does better than its competition. And holy shit, does RuneScape do a lot of things right for an MMORPG. I remember wanting to make this video back when I decided to stream this title. A handful of people who decided to check in were completely baffled why I'd choose this game to stream, how they thought it was dead, and some even thought I was doing it to join in on some unexplained meme or something. Not trying to say the memes aren't funny, because they are, but the reason was much more simple than that. I still like RuneScape, and in this video I'm going to try and explain why this is, and why these dormant thoughts of mockery still follow this title like a bad smell. Before we jump into those things, however, I first want to do a short history lesson for those of you wondering why I'm willing to die on this hill. Stuck with mithril arrows, no GF to be found, press 1, 2, 3. Primordial RuneScape, created by the UK company Jagex, originally started off in 2001 as a Java-based browser game, and would remain that way until 2016, where it was replaced by a C++ coded client. I don't know what that means either. As time went on, the style of RuneScape would change, going from what you see here into the version of a game everyone would come to know and love. And this is the version I'll be focusing on in this video. I'm sure RuneScape 3 has its fans and merits, but if I'm being completely honest, I never played it once in my life, nostalgia has won the war on this one, fuck you. It was this release of RuneScape 3 and the changes it made to the classic RuneScape system that irked a lot of original fans, changing their comfort zone into something which alienated a lot of the older community. Using the fan feedback of 20,000 or so angry nerds, Jagex did one of the most smartest choices of their entire business career by releasing Old School Runescape, a separate client to RuneScape 3 but would serve as an angry baby jail for all of the older fans that were left behind, something that my abusive ex-partner Blizzard would later slap on the table after years of stubbornness. The goal in Old School RuneScape is simple, and it's that simplicity that serves as a positive in the eyes of this emotionally drained JRPG advocate, but a negative in the eyes of its detractors, aka villains. So what is the goal of RuneScape? What is the story? Well, it's anything you want, really. After you've finished up on Tutorial Island, you have access to virtually everything in the vast world of Gielinor. You want to go fishing? You can do that. Want to attack that goblin settlement over there? Go ahead, be my guest. Want to brave the desert sands of Al-Kharid and mine for ores? Slaughter a field of innocent cows for their hide, wait for them to respawn, then commit the same atrocious act all over again for mad profit?
We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death.
If you wanted to, you could start walking from Lumbridge and travel all the way to Camelot, if you're lucky and don't get vored by wolves.
No!
Run!
Run, Clemps! I will kill it! No,
Oh my god! Or if you're feeling particularly dangerous, why not step into the wilderness? A PvP zone at the top of the world map, which lives up to its name. Even to this day, I still feel terrified entering, because one of the things that'll happen when you die in RuneScape is you'll lose a majority of the items in your inventory. After that, it's a race against the clock, because if you don't collect your dropped items after an hour, they're gone forever. Fucking consequences in an MMO! Keep in mind, I'm talking as if you have a membership at this point, which grants you access to 100% of the world map. But even in free-to-play, the map they let you wander around in is filled with things to do and quests to complete. Most of the time though, you'll be leveling your skills. Skills are interesting, because at face value a lot of them seem pointless. Woodcutting? You fucking what? Fire making? Okay, that one is pretty useless actually. Mom? Mom? But it's the way that skills connect to one another that I personally get a kick out of. You chop down trees to get logs, which you can then cut with a knife to make arrow shafts, contributing to your fletching skill. You can set logs on fire to cook things on the fly, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You can mine ore, which obviously raises your mining, then can either sell your hoard or smelt them into bars, which can give you blacksmithing experience. And since I know this is something a lot of people want in an MMO, you can combine a hefty chunk of these skills to sink into your construction skill, which lets you create your very own player-owned house. Now, herein lies one of the issues of RuneScape that I'll be defending. This being, a lot of the things you do in this MMO fall down to, a versatile click of the finger, rinse and repeat, ad infinitum. RuneScape's simplicity from its look to its style of gameplay is something which I understand people disliking. It definitely isn't for everyone. The repetitive style of see thing, click thing, idle around whilst you're listening to a bomb-ass MIDI soundtrack, which you can slowly unlock as you venture around the world. Seriously though, if you knock C Shanty, we are not friends. But here's the thing, and this is definitely something personal, so I get it if it doesn't match up to your ideals, but the gameplay of RuneScape, for me at least, is incredibly relaxing. Sometimes after a long day, I'd rather put something on to calm me down and soothe me, and RuneScape achieves this for me perfectly. Grabbing your fishing gear and throwing the cage into the sea for going on an hour or so may sound like the world's most boring activity, but, and this may sound like a detriment, but keep in mind this is personal, being able to get up, walk around my room, do some dusting, write a script for a video as the fish fill up my bags in a separate window, leaves me feeling like I've accomplished something. I know for a goddamn fact I can't edit a video whilst playing Bayonetta at the same time. Hell, I'm sure somebody out there can, the dexterous little rascal, but that ain't me. Some games are created to be high impact. Some games are created to make you feel the crushing existentialism of what it means to be human. And some are made, even if unintentionally, to help you unwind. And RuneScape fits ever so nicely into that latter slot. But the thing which truly separates this game from other MMOs, which makes it unique amongst its competitors, are the quests. Picture the scene. Troubled Timmy over here has lost his ball. Okay, all I gotta do is get it back from that witch's garden. No big deal, jump the fence, 1 out of 1 witch is defeated and we're good to go. That's how it would work in most other MMOs. In this quest, which you can innocently pick up from the side of a road, we'll have you do this. The door is locked. What do? Check underneath the flower pot. Dumb bitch left the key there unguarded, sucks to be you. You read her diary to find some clues and realise that a magnet is kept in a small cupboard in the basement in order to open up a mechanism to the back door. So, using a pair of leather gloves which protect you from the booby trap, you grab the magnet, take it to a hole in the wall, drop some cheese which can lure out the mouse from its hole. Hang on a minute, the mouse? The mouse? Well yes, you thicky dumb brain, if you read the diary, you know that you have to attach a magnet to the mouse so when it goes back into the hole it opens the door, idiot! You stupid idiot! You then initiate a fucking stealth segment so that Danger Doris over here doesn't notice you. You then get another key, kill 3 experiments that the witch has cooked up, get the ball back, get back through the stealth segment or you will lose the ball and we'll be forced to do it all over again. Return it to the boy and hey presto, quest complete. The thinking man's MMO. So on one hand, we have the gameplay of RuneScape. So simple a child could do it. Then there are the quests, where they're set up to make you think, to utilise your knowledge of the game, read instructions and go out of your way to live up to the word quest. Now, not all of the quests are hits. A handful of easier quests require nothing more than a bit of a walk and a simple collectathon. But on the other hand, I feel some are just too ridiculous. I wouldn't judge anyone for looking up a wiki guide because some of them are so vague with their instructions that I'd much rather be playing a handheld whilst taking a poo. Sorry game, you lost me. But RuneScape is the only MMO where quests really feel like what the name implies. implies. A majority are so unique and interesting that the drastic shift between a smooth-brained gameplay to fucking CSI Gielinor blows me away at how a title can somehow blend simplicity with ball-busting puzzle solving, and yet hey, it works. Cream does go with coffee, I suppose. The game sure does look like shit though. Yeah, I was wondering why you'd show up, motherfucker. Cast your mind back to a time when you were talking in the playground with your friends at school. When the topic of MMOs came up, you may remember how these types of conversations went. Hey guys, I played this really fun game last night. It's called Runescape and... Runescape? That game looks like dog shit. Go play World of Warcraft, it looks much better. The topic would then move on to how Runescape is a collection of homophobic slurs. I'd internally question how the way something looks determines its sexuality, not that I'm helping my case in that regard. My somewhat strange point is that if you were in school when Old School Runescape was at the peak of its popularity, this argument would always crop up. The idea that there are better looking things to play, so why are you bothering with it? And the funny thing is that after all of these years, I still see it happening. I still see people around my age giving me the stink eye when I tell them I play RuneScape from time to time, saying things like, "Isn't that the game which aged really poorly in the looks department? Now excuse me, as I play Final Fantasy VII for the 18th time." It honestly baffles me that in an age where nostalgia is a burning selling point for a lot of titles, people are still hating on RuneScape of all things for the way it looks, disregarding the fact that plenty of games they really love from the same time period probably haven't aged all that gracefully. It led me to believe that a lot of people still hold on to the feelings they had back when they were children, the age-old graphics war laying dormant in their heads, rekindling whenever RuneScape is brought back into conversation. But if you're somebody who refuses to play this title because it looks like an early PlayStation 1 game while simultaneously playing Final Fantasy VII, a game which, despite being a genre-defining masterpiece, has not exactly aged all that gracefully when it comes to how it looks graphically, then I really hope that in this video you can now see past its primitive-looking aesthetic and see the positives that are being laid out in front of you. As I said, if you hate it because of the simplistic gameplay, then power to you. It's absolutely a taste thing at the end of the day. And sure, even during 2007, there were games that were blowing RuneScape out of the water with their overall presentation. But in 2019, after playing this game with new characters on and off for over 10 years, I've still barely scratched the surface with the amount of content that this MMO provides for you. Even on my first account, I never managed to complete half of the quests, so to this day, I'm still encountering a plethora of new experiences. And the great news is, the devs are still adding brand new things to Old School RuneScape as we speak. From new enemies to new bosses, the game continues to grow based solely on what the community wants, being voted on in polls you can access in-game. You can even play it on your fucking phone now. The accessibility for this title has gone beyond Java at this stage. It's funny, I realised this video was fairly short and the points I brought up were few, but the sad thing is that so little people are talking about RuneScape now that I felt I needed to make this to question the voices of a minority who still openly shun this game, but also to raise awareness that this is a title that still exists and is still worth your hard-earned cash. The player base has grown in recent years due to Let's Players jumping onto it and bringing their fans along with them. And I kinda hope that's what'll happen here too. If I can change people's mind about this game, or hell, even remind them that it exists in the first place, then that's a job well done for me. RuneScape is still valid. It has a fantastic, vast world map filled with things to do. The fact you can now take it along with you on the go is a very nice bonus. And if you're looking for something that's fairly mindless and can allow you to sit back and relax a little, then look no further. Sometimes all you need in life is a small comfort blanket, and RuneScape will return to cover me up again and again and keep me warm whenever I need it. And hopefully it may end up doing the same thing for you too. Or hey, with World of Warcraft Classic coming out soon, why don't we just start another playground war?
Thank you!
Alright ladies and gents, thank you so much for making it this far. I know this isn't my usual choice of game, but I hope it was fun regardless. If you liked it a lot, then consider subscribing and sharing it around. As usual, I'm going to do a cheeky plug for my Patreon here. Every single goddamn one of you scrolling by on the right have my utmost respect and gratitude for giving me any amount of your hard-earned cash. And a big thank you to those of you who already are and are thinking about pledging to me in the future. The tiers range from $1 to $5, but I'm considering expanding into 10 with unique vlogs, so keep an eye open for that. Special thanks as usual to everyone who helped make this video possible. All of their names can be found down in the description. And I'm going to take the time to name drop my good friend Tentacle Touchy over on Twitter. Twitter. He's the young man who creates all of the lovely new thumbnails you're seeing, and he's now open to taking commissions. So if you want some audio, videos, or even thumbnails edited, then hit him up over on Twitter. He can also be found down below. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.